Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're heading deep beneath the blistering sands of Egypt to unpack a truly thrilling archaeological mystery. We're looking at a discovery that completely shatters everything we thought we knew about ancient burial practices. We're talking about a site perfectly sealed for over 3,000 years. But, as we're about to see, some doors are really meant to stay closed forever. Let's dive in.
So picture this. You've spent weeks, maybe even months, digging through the harsh desert. You're exhausted. And when you finally break through the entrance of this 3,000-year-old sealed tomb, this is the very first thing you see. Do not wake the one who was buried without a name. I mean, wow. It's carved right there into the solid rock. It's definitely not a welcome sign, and it's not some sweet dedication to a beloved king. It is a chilling, totally direct warning. And it instantly sets a very dark tone for everything that happens next.
Because almost immediately the team notices something kinda alarming. Normally when you uncover a tomb of this sheer magnitude, you're expecting serious opulence, right? Golden statues, precious jewels, lavish offerings for the afterlife. But here, they find absolutely nothing. No treasures, no gold, just cold, bare, imposing stone. And in archaeology, this lack of artifacts is a massive red flag. Structurally, it tells us this site wasn't built to honor someone. It was built as a prison, or, honestly, maybe even a quarantine zone.
And well, you know how it goes. This is exactly where dangerous human curiosity takes over. Dr. Daniel Carter, the lead archaeologist, decides to do what people always seem to do in these situations. He completely ignores the ominous ancient warning. So his team pushes deeper into the darkness, and they step into this massive stone chamber. And right in the dead center sits a pitch-black sarcophagus, absolutely covered in strange, completely unrecognizable symbols. It's the unquestionable focal point of the room, practically daring them to step closer. And Daniel actually does step closer. He reaches out and he touches the sarcophagus. Literally the second he does, the entire chamber starts to violently shake. The incredibly heavy stone lid just slowly grinds open, and inside is a perfectly preserved mummy wrapped in ancient linen. But then, the torches just snuff out. The room goes pitch black. A freezing cold wind suddenly sweeps through the chamber, and right out of that darkness, a voice whispers, "You have opened the door." Now, you'd think they'd just pack up and leave, right? But escaping that tomb was really only the beginning, because something definitely followed them back to the surface. The terror escalates incredibly fast. By nightfall, they start finding these strange, totally unexplainable footprints circling their camp. By midnight, those same ancient symbols from the sarcophagus just start manifesting, literally appearing carved into the loose sand. And by early morning, the whole team reaches a psychological breaking point. One by one, they start suffering from these intense, terrifying visions of an enormous ancient city buried deep beneath the desert. The curse is actively hunting them.
So, the expedition is completely unraveling. But right in the middle of all this chaos, Daniel discovers an artifact that changes the entire context of their situation. He manages to find and translate an ancient scroll, and what he reads on this piece of parchment, it completely flips the narrative. We're suddenly shifting from a simple ghost story into something far more complex and far, far more ancient.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the dramatic contrast between what Dr. Carter assumed was happening and the terrifying truth they actually stumbled into. Up until this very moment, Daniel and his team fully believed the mummy was the main threat. They thought it was some monster they had accidentally woken up. But the scroll reveals the exact opposite. The mummy wasn't the evil. Actually, the mummy had been a highly powerful guardian.
The text explains that thousands of years ago, people tried to steal something from a sacred underground temple. As punishment, or maybe as a necessary sacrifice, this guardian was cursed to remain trapped between life and death forever. But here's the truly bone-chilling part. That tomb they found, it wasn't his prison. It was his warning to the outside world. He was stationed there to keep us out, because beneath his tomb lay an enormous, sprawling underground city completely untouched for millennia, and something much, much older than the mummy was still alive down there.
Driven by this horrifying realization of what they've just done, the team knows they have absolutely no choice. They have to go back. So we track their tent's descent here. First, they journey past the original tomb, plunging deep into the actual underground city. Second, they're passing these towering, enormous statues and forgotten, crumbling temples in the pitch black. And third, they start noticing the environmental storytelling around them. The stone walls are covered with ancient paintings depicting this massive shadow-like creature. And the deeper they go, the more incredibly apparent it becomes exactly what the Guardian was trying to keep locked away.
Then suddenly, the heavy, suffocating silence of the underground city is broken. They hear footsteps echoing down the stone corridor. Out of the darkness, the mummy appears right in front of them. I mean, the tension here is absolute. This is the very entity they woke up. This is the creature that has been terrorizing their camp. But as it stands there at the end of the corridor, it doesn't lunge. It doesn't attack them at all. So here's the absolute turning point. Instead of seeking revenge, the mummy simply raises an arm, and it points. It points directly toward a massive sealed stone door at the very end of the hall. And in that moment, Daniel gets it. He understands everything. The mummy isn't hunting them. It has never been hunting them. It has been desperately trying to stop them from going any further. It is trying with everything it has to stop them from opening that final door. But oh man, that realization comes a fraction of a second too late. Before Daniel can even scream a warning to the rest of the team, one of the terrified explorers grabs this heavy stone lever on the wall and just pulls it. The ancient mechanisms start to grind. That giant stone door cracks open. An unbelievably powerful gust of wind practically explodes out of the chamber, knocking everyone backward. And right there, staring out from the absolute suffocating darkness of that breached prison, two massive glowing eyes appear.
Right in the middle of that chaotic, rushing wind, the mummy turns back. It looks toward Daniel for one final, deeply tragic time. And then, with its purpose entirely defeated, the Guardian just fades away, dissolving into the shadows of the crumbling temple. I mean, think about it. He had stood watch between life and death for over 3,000 years, and simply because of human arrogance, he had ultimately failed.
The ancient Guardian is gone. The door is wide open, and whatever was locked away in the dark all those centuries ago is finally free. Which really leaves us with one horrifying question. What ancient evil has Daniel Carter just unleashed upon the world? Because one thing is for sure, beneath the Egyptian desert, that forgotten city is definitely no longer silent. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer today. I really encourage you to keep questioning what lies hidden in the shadows of our past. Catch you next time.